Optimizely's smart AI assistant Opal helps inform and accelerate every phase of your content supply chain. We'll start our journey with the content marketing platform. Based on our research, we see that 85% of the content creation process happens outside of the CMS. In your content marketing platform, when you add in any new assets, the assets are automatically tagged with the appropriate tags. Opal actually uses object recognition in the images to understand and analyze the image and then tag the asset based on the information. You can always use Opal as a co-pilot in your content marketing platform. You can ask it questions, you can ask it to create content. Here you have an example about asking for about sustainability, and you see that Opal responds with an article that is relevant to the question. The Opal system also lets you bring in your own AI model. What that means is if you have specifically trained AI models, here you see an example of Super Mario, Sir David Attenborough, and so on, these can actually be integrated directly in the system, allowing you to use those specialized and trained LLM models to get your answers back. You can also use Opal to actually create content and also generate images. You can give it different prompts that would result to you in images as you see here in this specific task. Opal is also context aware, which means it knows what task you're working with. So it has the context of the task or the campaign, and it uses retrieval augmented generation to actually understand the task and the content you create and then reuse that when generating the responses for you. Here I have an example website based on our SaaS CMS, which utilizes Optimizely Graph. Now Graph supports semantic search, and what that means is Opal can actually talk with this system and understand and respond to the user with the data that they ask for. Here I ask the system if you have any content on London. Since we do have pages in the SaaS CMS on London, we get a response back based on factual information saying yes, we do have information on it. If I ask it for content that does not exist, it gives me clear instructions saying, hey, this does not exist. Then I could ask Opal to create me content for that specific scenario and move ahead from there on. You can also control the behavior of Opal in your organization settings. You can actually go in, select the different kind of capabilities that are available. So you could select different LLM models based on your setup and then choose which one applies for image generation versus text generation versus text correction. From here on, we'll move on to the Optimizely Data platform. In the Optimizely Data platform, Opal can be leveraged to give you a summary of the customer. This includes showing you the behavior of the customer, whether they engage more with SMS campaigns or email campaigns. What time do they respond to these emails? Do they read the emails in the morning, in the evening, and so on? But all of this behavior is actually gathered from the customer, the way they interact with your system, and then actually feeds that back into the system, allowing you to create segments based off of these events. Opal can also help you predict things like next order. So it knows based on the user's behavior and their spending habits of what would be the next time that this user actually places an order. Opal can also help you with churn prevention. It can actually analyze your ongoing customer base and tell you which customers have a possibility of churning, and then you could use those segments. You can define segments to actually put those customers in a bucket and then target them with specific messaging. From there on, we'll go into web experimentation. Now, web experimentation lets you actually go in and create content for different elements. So I have this book now button selected on this page. I can ask the system to generate me a copy for the text that can be seen here. Here I see information on different recommendations that I get back from the system. What this allows me to do is then pick one of these and create an A/B test and a variant from one of these texts that were recommended to me by Opal. I can also ask Opal on directions on how I create experiment, how I can create an experiment. It will then use our documentation from Optimizely to guide you in how you should go ahead and set up your experiment, and also point you to the sources that were used to create this experiment. Now, when you run an experiment, you will end up getting results something like this back. Now, unless you're a data engineer who understands how to interpret and understand this data, it'll be a bit difficult for you to go through and take next steps based on this information. To do that, you can use the experimentation collaboration platform to summarize the experiments for you. Here I have a hypothesis defined in the experimentation collaboration platform, and I can ask Opal to summarize the experiment for me. When I ask it about the summarization, I get results back about the variations that were tested, the metrics used, results, statistical significance, and impact on revenue. I also see that there are 3 key takeaways from this experiment. So it also gives me next best steps on what I should do to make this experiment work and help us boost our conversions. You can also use contextual multi-arm bandits in the experimentation systems. These are nothing but multi-arm bandits, but they also take into consideration extra user attributes, allowing you to decide what the user should see based on their behavior pattern. So they are more personalized multi-arm bandits. If you're using our feature experimentation platform, you'll also be able to use Opal to brainstorm. So you can ask Opal to give you recommendations on what kind of variables you should use for your feature flag. But you can also use Opal in a co-pilot mode and ask it to give you recommendations on the code that is needed to implement these feature flags in your solution. Last but not least, Optima has recently introduced the AI playbook. It's a practical guide to AI for the marketers. And this describes how you can actually implement AI in your organization from a marketing perspective. Thank you for watching this session today. Have a nice day.